Now joined by wide receiver from Iowa State, Jaylin. Noel. Jaylin, you know what, we were just kidding around. We got to talk to you after practice yesterday, so long time no see. Appreciate you carving out some time for us.
Yeah, of course. Appreciate you for having me.
Yeah, man. So, Jaylin, I think the most intriguing part of your profile is your ability to play inside and out. Someone's going to look at you and say, oh, 5'9", that's a slot. But I think we're at a point in the game where it's like, especially with how your ability to break off the top of a route, separation.
Yes,
Inside, outside, doesn't matter. And you have a ton of long speed, so I think you threaten defenses from both spots. So talk to me about that versatility and how much pride you take into that in your game.
Yeah, kudos to my coach back at Iowa State, Coach Polly. He prided us in knowing all the positions and then really working on our game to excel on the outside and inside. So I take pride in the versatility at the receiver position and continuing to be curious about my game and expanding my game and being able to be a threat not only in the inside but also in the outside.
Yeah, and I also think there's a lot of detail to how you run routes. Is there any player that you look to and say, that's a role model, that's someone I can look to, maybe it's a similar body type, or it's just someone, hey, I think he does this at a high level at the NFL level. Is there any guys that you look to and emulate your game after?
Yeah, there's a few. I would say Jaylin Waddle is one of those guys. I feel like he's a very athletic, can jump, kind of a similar profile like me. Also Jordan Addison, another young guy in the league, very smooth route runner, very crisp at the top of his routes. And then Devontae Adams, just one of those Hall of Fame receiver that you can look at and just see how quick and sudden he is with his route running, and it's something that I like to put in my game.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm only 27, but in my lifetime, there's not been a better guy getting off the line of scrimmage. Like, there's not been a better player at his release packages than Devontae Adams, and I think that's what makes you interesting when playing on the outside. It's kind of like Tank Dell a couple years ago. 5'10", 165, okay, that's a slot. But he was so good at getting off the line of scrimmage, and press me if you dare. If you lose that rep, it's going to be 6 the other way. You have that same type of mindset?
Oh, yeah.
Do you challenge press? Like, please, come on.
Oh, yeah, I definitely like it. I feel like my speed is a threat to any defense, so being able to win quick at the line, being able to stack the corners is something that's very important in my game, and being able to make big plays.
And it's not necessarily the perfect, body comp, but your ball tracking makes me think of Tyler Lockett too. And catching moon balls from Russell Wilson, I used to, not a Seahawks fan, but I used to always marvel the small guy and the catches he would make in the end zone and corner. It was just insane. And I was just telling you, going back watching that Kansas game, there's a couple balls in there you catch, and it's like, how did you even see the ball coming there? So, talk to me how you train that at the receiver spot. I think it's an underrated part of the position. How much can you train, and how much of it is natural?
Yeah, it's a little bit of it is natural, but you can definitely work on it. Just constantly getting catches with your quarterback as much as you can. Maybe getting on the jugs machine, working that concentration, and getting distraction catches, because obviously you're not going to get a easy catch wide open every time. So being able to catch in traffic is very important, and I feel like body control goes a long way with being able to make those type of catches as well.
No doubt. And another fun part of this Iowa State offense is Jaden Higgins, and I loved y'all's offensive philosophy. And a lot of times y'all will play on the same side of the field, and you'll get you in motion, and that's become a big part of the NFL. Getting these guys in motion, getting them off the line of scrimmage, avoiding press. You're great against it, but getting them that head start. And you're such an explosive athlete that you already got a head start. Look out, that's tough. But can you talk to me about what it's like playing with Jaden, and then especially within a concept where you're both on the same side of the field, and you're kind of forcing the defense that you can't play man coverage, but both these guys on the same field. Talk to me about the advantages that gives you.
Yeah, it gave us a great advantage this year. Obviously, Jaden Higgins is a great player, and that's my brother that I've been able to create a bond with him these past 2 seasons. But like you said, when we're both on the same field, it's very hard for a defense to cover us both. We ended up really starting to get a lot of cloud towards the end of the season when we were both on the same side. But earlier on in the year, it was hard for teams to just match our route concepts that we had on the same side. Obviously, he's a bigger receiver, but he could do all the same things. Ball skills are really good, very quick and explosive within his routes. And so it just makes it tough for a defense to be able to cover us on the same side, and then when we're on opposite sides, it makes the defense have to choose and pick their poison what they wants to cover.
Well, it's funny you mentioned that cover 3 cloud play, because you had a touchdown in that Kansas game where you basically get Jaden running I think it's just a hook over the middle of the field, and then that third defender on the left side starts to creep down a little bit, and you're on this deep crosser. Boom, nice catch. You basically split the 2 deep thirds on that left side perfectly, and opposite sides of the field. So you talk about how much advantages that kind of gives y'all. That's fantastic. Just give me 1 second. I was thinking about where I was going next. I lost my train of thought. Got too excited to talk about that. I was like, man, there's no way he said that. Oh, okay. And Jaylin, I'd love to know any specific route that you love to run. I think there's one that, like, at the next level, gets me giddy to think about you running at in an NFL offense. But is there any route that you're like, yeah, I know I can win on this one?
I love the deep post over the middle, whether that's slot or outside. But a route that intrigues me and that I love to run and I'm always working on is a choice route. A simple, it's a 5-yard route. I can either sit in zone, break in versus man, break out versus man. Hot coverages most of the time when I'm thinking breaking in, and when I do break in, I'm thinking big plays. So,
yeah, it's actually funny that you talk about the option route. I'm going to tell you what route I really like to see you run. But also in that Kansas game, you took a snap from the backfield, and I think the option route, your yards after catch ability, even just the want to from Iowa State to put you in the backfield and use you as a runner. Talk to me about, it's a different aspect of playing receiver, but your vision, yards after catch ability.
Yeah, it's something that I pride myself going into this season, knowing that it's a big part of a receiver's game. If you're able to create yak after the catch, it goes a long way into making big plays and scoring points for your team. So throughout the season, just being really great with my drop steps at the catch point, trusting the quarterback where he's putting the ball at, and being able to take those quick drop steps, split defenders, and take advantage of that.
Man, that's where, coming back to that route, I think you run really well. That's slot fade, man. And again, I think you can play on the outside, but that's slot fade, man. Like, if you don't have over-the-top help, you're going to get behind that corner assignment. And then you talk about you can do that, and you can be the easy button in offense. Just give it to him in the backfield, run him on a jet sweep, let him run an option route, and generate some easy offense. I'm making the case for you here. I'm almost thinking I should be your second agent here. But now let's talk about the Senior Bowl. How do you think day one went? I know I asked you a little bit yesterday, but now with a little bit more time to think and marinate on it, as you reflect on day one, what were some of your some takeaways from day one?
Yeah, I thought it went great. I felt like I showcased my hands, being able to catch everything that came my way. But I want to being able to attack across the line of scrimmage a little bit more. Felt like I could do that, make guys feel pressure, attacking them with my speed. But just, I felt like overall day one, it was a good day for me, and just building on that day, going into today, and just excited about that.
Yeah, and I mean, this has been hyped up, and myself included, as the most loaded Senior Bowl roster that we've ever gotten.
Yeah.
So can you talk to me a little bit about, like, the atmosphere and the competitive spirit out there?
Oh yeah, there's competitive juices everywhere. Great DBs everywhere. Like I said yesterday, I got to match up against Quincy Riley from Louisville. Great competition. Also got to match up against my teammate Darian Porter. Just a great guy, very athletic, lengthy, very smart within his technique. And then I'm pretty sure it wasn't a pass play, but I went against Azarie Thompson in the blocking game, and physical guy, being able to go out there and block him. It's just talent everywhere on the field, and it's something I'm excited about as a competitor, being able to go out there and compete against those guys.
Yeah, and I mean, I know you probably saw Porter a lot in practice and whatnot, and I was just going to say, I love all three of the Iowa State guys we got here. You, Jaden, and Porter's one of my favorite corners. I just love his instincts. Doesn't have a whole lot of, like, snaps, quote-unquote, experience on that side of the ball, but his instincts play.
Yes.
But I think your assignment's going to get a little bit easier. Day two, and then especially by day three, you start to see typically quarterbacks and receivers really start to get on that same page. So talk to me about that learning process, working with quarterbacks that, it's a tough environment to step into, working with a guy you never worked with before.
Yeah, it's quick turnarounds with these installs, but I feel like guys are getting a grip of the playbook, just the pro-style terminology. And once you do get on that same page, it's very important for a receiver and quarterback. Most receivers and quarterbacks are working on that time in all off season. So to be able to do it within a week really just shows you the talent level we have here at the Senior Bowl, being able to get those connections down pretty quick. And I feel like it'll, you even seen towards the end of practice yesterday, being able to make those quicker connections, like Dylan Gabriel with my teammate Jaden Higgins, being able to connect with him in the team period. So those things will come, and we have very smart players here, so those things will come easy for sure.
Awesome. Well, Jaylin, thank you again for carving out some time for us this morning. Awesome.
Thank you.